Well, welcome back to Thrift Store Bibles. Excuse the gloves. My hands are having a tough time with the winter weather this year, and they're a bit unsightly, so that's why I'm wearing them. It's going to make turning pages fun, I'm sure. But anyways, we have a Thrift Bible. It is the New English Bible with the Apocrypha. This is from Oxford, 1970s, maybe 1970, 71. That's when they had the complete version with the Apocrypha and the second edition of the New Testament all in one volume. This is one I had previously, but I got rid of it when I purged things last year because it's not really a translation I read. You can see the first page has been cut off. Maybe they had a dedication written on there. I appreciate they didn't try to cut it all the way to the spine. They kept that where it's pasted down because that'll help the book stay together. So thank you to whoever did that. Yeah, I got rid of it because I never really read it that much, but then I kind of was like, oh, I wish I'd kept that. So I've been looking for one. If I found one that looked, pretty good condition, and I found this last week for $2 at a library sale. So very happy with that. We see here the churches that I guess were behind the translation or took part in it. It's a very British translation, so we see a lot of UK churches, very Protestant too. New English Bible with the Apocrypha, Oxford University Press, 1971. So it must have been 71. It tells you here, yeah, so first edition of the New Testament was 61. And then, 1970 was when they first published the Old Testament and Apocrypha. And then I guess this complete edition came out in 71. But it's an interesting translation. They give a preface here, but, this was an attempt to provide a brand new translation that didn't depend on the King James, which now that's not there's a lot of translations that have done that, but at that time, that was a big deal. And so it's very notable for that reason in history. And it drew a lot of criticism. It drew some praise too. I think today it wouldn't be so controversial, but I guess in its time it was. I know the Bible Researcher website called it controversial, but it seems a lot of the controversy was around just the language and moving away from that kind of Elizabethan style English. So it still maintains some of that, like when God the Father is being addressed, you still get the these and thous and that kind of thing. But it's also pretty loose translation. It's not as word for word as a King James or RSV, ASV, etc. of the time. So it's not a paraphrase, but it is quite loose for a translation. This particular edition does not have like study notes. So there's another version with a blue cover that has study notes. If you watch our Grant Jones review and video, that's what he has. And that's a double column. This is a single column. And I agree with Jones. It is a very wide single column. Camera's really struggling to focus today. Maybe it's the gloves. There we go. So yeah, that's a very wide single column, and the verse numbers are in the margin, which is kind of nice. So it kind of makes it like a sort of a reader's edition. You can see right off the top here, Genesis 1:1, in the beginning of creation, when God made heaven and earth, instead of in the beginning God created heaven and earth, which you'd have like in the King James, or a lot of kind of, I guess, translations following that traditionally. And then they have a mighty wind that swept instead of spirit. So obviously right from the top, there's going to be some changes there, some compared to the King James that would cause some controversy for some. But, we've had a lot of translations that have done the same thing since then, of course. Yeah, I won't get into all like the details about how it's translated. We'll look at a few pages here so you can see how it's laid out. But if you look at Bible Researcher, the article they have, which I'll link to, they get into some of the choices it makes in terms of which manuscripts to follow. And, they know some of those choices they found disagreeable or were incautious, which were later changed in the REB that ended up replacing this, but I thought I had a bookmark there. I guess not. But it may not be the best choice as a primary translation or an only translation, but I think it's a good translation. There's things I like in it, some of which made their way into the REB as well. This is a great example of something I really like. In Psalms 42 to 43, very important Psalms to me. I've talked in the past, I think, about how much I prayed these a lot when I was going through a time was really struggling with depression and anxiety. You'll also hear it has, how deep I am sunk in misery, which I like that. Groaning my distress, yet I will wait for God. Not I will hope in God, it's I will wait for God. And, that kind of hope in God we see in a lot of translations, or something similar. The Book of Common Prayer, traditional ones have trust in God. They went with wait. You see that in the REB as well that followed. Also in the NET and the most recent revision of the NASB have wait. So why wait? And I haven't dug into it a lot, but the NET full notes, and I'll link to this too down below because it's available online. They note that the base meaning of the word here is waiting. It can be like hoping or trusting, or what was it? I think they said like, or being expectation or expectant. That's how Golden Gay translates it in the Old Testament for everyone. But you need the context to know if it's more than just waiting, if there's hope. And as the NAT explains in their notes, they feel when we see all the emotions and things that the psalmist is going through here, that making it hope assumes too much about what the psalmist is going through here. So they prefer to go with wait and leave it a bit open. I really like that because I know in my own times when life's been difficult or been through something really painful or terrible, and those kinds of moments where you're really wondering where God is in the moment, wait makes a lot more sense. And so I actually tend, when I pray this psalm, I often have done it in the REB to the point where I actually have a booked art in my REB marking where Psalm 42 is. That's how valuable and important that is to me. So I like that. Yeah, this is another one I like. This might have been one here's a bookmark. This was in here when I bought it. Kind of pretty. And then it apparently came from a pack of playing cards. Read for knowledge and pleasure. Play cards for relaxation. So this apparently came with a pack of playing cards, bonus bookmark. That was kind of neat. So yeah, I like Jonah here. It starts, the word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai, go to the city of Nineveh, go now and denounce it, for its wickedness stares me in the face. I really like that. I think more literally, like its wickedness has come before me or come before my face. So is this very much a paraphrase? Yes. Is it very accurate? Maybe not, but that's, as Dr. Jones puts it in his review, what he likes about the NEB is that is the zest, is how he puts it, and I like that. There's some zest in that. It really jumps off the page. Its wickedness stares me in the face. So, that's a great example of the kind of thing I like in the NEB. So yeah, I don't know. I'm glad to have one again. I feel like my library feels more complete now that I have an NEB again. I just wanted to show this. It was just a place where there was a bit of the printing's not very good there. You can see it got kind of smudged in printing. And that's the thing about a thrift Bible. I can't, go to the publisher and ask them to to send me another one because they're not publishing this anymore, but that's not too bad. I've seen worse. So far, it's the only thing I've seen. Other than that, it looks pretty much perfect, but yeah, anyways, so I don't know, 10 minutes about me kind of talking a bit about the NEB, and I decided to bring back TSB, and maybe we'll talk about that more some other time for those of you who know, who've followed the channel a while. But yeah, I am going to do some more videos. They're going to be a little far and few between. I am very, very busy and can't do a lot, so but I wanted to do something. I enjoy sharing some of my finds and what I'm reading, and decided I want to do it on this channel again. So anyways, thank you for watching. God bless, and hope you have a wonderful day, friends.